All right, guys, Melissa here. How's everyone doing? I am doing great today. I have already gotten my sleep, caught up on my sleep. I'm doing fast food and I just serve people pretty much all day long. I'm either cleaning, stocking, serving people. My real passion in life is to serve. It's to serve and it's to help others. How I use my passion in life comes out in a million ways. I just changed my channel name to Mothering in a Million Ways. So when we are a mother, I like to serve other people, mostly with encouraging them. I like to serve my children, my family. I have served my husband. I have ministered to him, even at times when he thought I was up against him. I was actually serving him. I was for him 100%. So, I have a passion for serving people when it comes to the pro-life movement, serving people when it comes to homeschooling, all kinds of things. So there is nothing wrong with being a servant. I had a pastor say to me once, "You want to be a very wise servant." And I thought, "What?" I thought, I'm not a I'm not a servant. I'm not like a lowly, servant. That's what I thought before, right? But when you come to realize Christ talked about those who serve are the greatest. Servanthood doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you lose your value being a servant. It's not a derogatory term. We are even told to be slaves of Christ. Because Christ has died for us, he has brought us with his precious blood. Precious blood. I think of that sometimes, like when I was giving plasma. I still have like marks on my arms. I don't like that. From giving plasma, I've given myself a break from the plasma. I'm not getting dizzy like I was. I mean, the room was spinning for me. So, thinking about my blood, right? Just common blood. You give plasma, you give parts of your body to other people. But Christ, his blood was precious. Just thinking about that is like just amazing. Like one story in the Bible, this woman touched the hem of Jesus's garment and she was healed. It's just powerful. It's amazing. His blood. So, what was I getting to? Okay. So, a servant being a slave, we all are a slave, whether we realize it or not. We are a slave to sin. We do whatever we want. We indulge in sinful behavior, and that comes in many ways, right? It comes into gossip, slander, having an attitude of superiority. And then sin can go so far, we may have our little pet sins, but then sin can go so far as killing people to, just on and on it goes, right? I mean, there's a depravity that we are capable of. So, when I think about serving is a gift. It's a gift that if you are equipped with that, it's a wonderful gift to have when you work. If you're serving people, that's a great gift to have. I tend to be a little bit too generous sometimes with my time and when I have money. So I've had to learn to pull it in a little bit when I serve people. I mean, there was somebody at work who came in and I had some food that I was going to toss out, so I had given that to him. And I have to be careful that I'm not being too generous because you also can get walked on a lot. But I want to talk about being generous and talking about homeschooling. So, one of the things that we want to be careful of as mothers, anybody can homeschool, and I've been wanting to talk about homeschooling more because I think it's a great choice for families. But one of the things that we need to be careful of, and I didn't realize this when I chose to homeschool, and I have no regrets with this, is that because I am such a servant and such a introvert, I did not realize how much homeschooling would take from me as an introvert. I mean, you go to school, you go through the motions, you just do your homework, you do what you're supposed to do, And I graduated early from high school, but I didn't always learn what I needed to learn. So I still have gaps in my education, right? I mean, I am fully capable of homeschooling because if I finished public school, then I definitely can homeschool. But but I still feel like I have gaps. It takes work for me. It takes a lot of work for me because I'm such an introvert and I am obsessed with learning. I am like obsessed with it. I love to learn. I'm a total nerd. So when I start getting into a subject, I will go into a subject and I will do like unit studies. And this is a great way to learn where you take one subject, say it's baseball, you learn math, you're learning about baseball, you're learning about math, you're learning about the ball players, you're learning history. You're taking one topic and you're going out to learn about everything you can about that. So, as I think about this, I think about, that it's great to be an introvert, but as I had three kids all at once, boom, 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 and then my husband had cancer, and then we had two more, which was great. I had to give myself extra time to get refreshed, to process, to be able to keep up with everything. So, what ended up happening with me, I didn't isolate myself, but I did need my space. And I tend to be that way as an introvert because I'm so busy. I tend to need my space. So, I needed my space. And a lot of times, those social things that other people went to, I did not go to. Or I wouldn't go, I wouldn't go here or I wouldn't go there because I was so focused and had a schedule of things I wanted to get done, and knowing my weaknesses that there was only so much I could do within a day. So, definitely a hard worker here. I wasn't lazy. I worked very hard at homeschooling. But the introvert that I am, again, it was hard for me sometimes to just be like, oh yeah, let me have a full schedule like other people I saw. I mean, I did have a full schedule, but to be able to do some things that I couldn't do. And I think even as a homeschool mom, like I saw a lot of people serving in church and I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't. I can't be like having like my focus on my home and go out there and serve like that. And when I was younger, I was out there all the time. But to homeschool and to do that, I just couldn't do it. So I had to pick one. And I picked my family and I picked my homeschooling. And looking back, it was the right choice. So I am going to be talking about homeschooling more. I am an all or nothing type of person. Today I have to do laundry. I will call work and see if they need me. But give yourself that extra care as a homeschool mom. Don't feel like you have to be out there and you have to do everything. And I think that if that is one of the major, issues with homeschool moms is they get burned out. And I homeschooled for 30 years, so I was able to, stay on target, to pace myself, to give myself lots of self-care, especially with the home births. I gave myself lots of care because I wanted to make sure I had everything I needed for supplies. I wanted to make sure I did it right. I was concerned too that, there was a chance that if something went wrong and I didn't get to the hospital, although it was right up the road, would I lose a child? Home births are they're wonderful, but you need to know what you're doing too. So pull yourself in. Pull yourself in if you're a homeschool mom. Do not feel like you have to have all the pressure. Socialization, there's positive socialization and there's negative. Usually in a school, you will find a ton of negative socialization. So when I heard that term, like positive socialization, I was like, what is that? I just thought socialization was socialization. So you can have, you can train your kids to have the positive interactions, or you can, just teach them to, by default, some negative stuff. So I'll be talking about that some more too. But do not feel pressure to conform to the world in the way of having to do every little thing. And also let your home go. Let your home go if you find you have too much work to do. The home can always be picked up later. But your kids, you only have one shot at it. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.